Just before we get started, who have seen these XPS seminars in the previous blog or the one before? Okay, good. So lots of new people, so perfect. So make sure that's gonna go a bit deeper in the lineup so you guys understand. The first thing I want to explain, and I want people to understand that XPS is a brand that belongs to BRP. It's like Ski-Doo, it's like Sea-Doo, it's like Motax. Okay, that's the brand that belongs to us. Okay, it's not like you're gonna see like partners, Fox, KYB. People think that XPS is a partner with BRP with a different company. No, it belongs to BRP. Okay, it's a private brand. So basically, what we do, we are responsible with the team of developing most of the chemicals and now the tires that we use on our vehicles. So we make sure to partner with the best oil company, cleaning, detailing, chemists, industries, and to make sure we can develop product for our own needs. Okay? We're not the type of people that they call it snake oil. We don't just buy oil and put a sticker on it with XPS brand. We develop our own product, our own chemistry. Our chemistry are proprietary to BRP, cannot be sold to anyone else. Okay? So they really belong to us, so belong to you guys at the same time. Okay? So what's new for this year? We have a few new products that came out to market, especially related to the release of the MAVERICK R and the new 325 horsepower centigraph. The first one is the new 540 full synthetic. We have been using the 540 synthetic blend for more than 10 years now. Okay, so now we're moving to a full synthetic new API-SN formula. We started this technology of chemistry with new polymer that had more shear stabilities a few years ago when we launched the 1050. That was the first of this new technology. Then it evolved to the 1040, the 040, and now we're just releasing it with the full synthetic in 540 rail. It's a fully Jazzo ME2 certified oil, so it can be used on motorcycle that's requesting 540. I think the BMW is an example of that. They use this type of oil specification. This oil right now is the factory oil for the 999T and the 325. But in the future, it will slowly replace the blend. Reason why we're not going out and saying, okay, we supersede the full for the blend. You guys have inventory, we do have inventory, we want to solve the leak in the network, but don't be surprised. This SKU will start to change, okay? Kit will start to change, and we want to make sure we fully deplete everything we have in inventory, but at one point, 12 to 18 months, I'll say, we're all going to have switched to the full synthetic. Okay? Pricing will be allowed us to better position the oil where it should be. Okay? In the past, we've been having a blend, we're having fun with the chemists when they always want to remember that. One of the chemists told me, I'm only going to buy a blend if I make it myself. Okay? Why? Because you can have synthetic blend with 10% synthetic and 90% mineral in it. It's a blend. Like us, it's like 95% synthetic and a 5% mineral. Basically, we have one solid polymer in the blend that is solid that we need to liquefy into a solvent that is mineral. So it make it a blend. Okay? But in fact, we could almost be advertising the full synthetic. But now we're going 100% synthetic on the new formulation with the new polymer that has shear stability of the oil. Okay? So this change will happen. See, the oil change kit will change also. So all the factory oil now will be fully synthetic on the APS line. Then let's move to the new DCT transmission. DCT transmission will use its own fluid. It's a new fluid that we have developed especially for the needs of the DCT. Okay, DCT has a very special appetite. One of the characteristics, most of the gears are changed or managed through hydraulic system. We want to make sure that there's no air, no foam, no bubbles in the air. If not, that's going to affect the shifting mechanism. We work along Rotax engineers and our chemists to develop a oil specific for the DCT transmission. Okay? So basically, it's going to be Brad 4 quarts. 4 quarts for an oil change in the transmission. And this section in the bevel gears, this section is separate. It's a different oil bath. That's the 75-140, the same one you're using right now for the bevel gears. So when you're going to perform an oil change on the Maverick R, you're going to have the engine that's going to be coupled here, the new 540 synthetic, ECT, and air all in once. It has its own filters. This one too. They look at the same, but they're not. Okay, so just pay attention when you're going to start to do oil change. But it's written on the filter, transmission only. Okay, so your mechanic should be able to see it easily that is specific for the transmission. Even though the filter look the same, it's not the same material. We need more filtering capacity. It's not the same fiber inside the filters. So that's important that the mechanic pay attention. It's fairly easy. They look the same. They're great, but one has a check valve. The other one doesn't have check valve, and it's written transmission. It should be okay with that. That's covered transmission. One thing that's I haven't said at the beginning, like if you walk around the booth, you'll see we have an aircraft engine, we have a karting engine that is there. There's not products that are available to you guys, but what we wanted to demonstrate is it's where XPS is now as of today. Like I said at the beginning, we're developing oil to match the need of our engine. The aircraft story is an interesting one. We were dealing with Shell and Motax for the aircraft oil because they already have an aircraft division that they make oil, and when they developed that new 160 horsepower turbo aircraft engine that fly at 24,000 feet of altitude, they had special needs. That's the guys at Shell or the Iowa Shell oil they were using to fulfill. So they came at us and said, "Can you support us develop an oil?" So it was an 18 months project where we had developed the first full synthetic oil for light aircraft. So we really like to develop our chemistry really that match the vehicle. One of the biggest challenge for the new 540 synthetic was the booster clutch. This booster clutch has a very special appetite, and it took us 3 years to balance, the friction modifiers and find the right friction modifier needed to fulfill the appetite of that booster clutch. And also we wanted to have one fluid by vehicle. We didn't want to do watercraft oil or ATV oil or spider oils. So having an oil that do them all, that's why it make it so complex to do. So when you have an aftermarket guys that show up that has the best oil for everything, just take a step back and just remember that we spent 13,000 hours of running engine validation to make this oil. There's not an aftermarket that can afford that. Okay? And on top of that, if he claims it is also the best for Polaris, Yamaha, and other, so that's probably going to have to make 50,000 hours of validation. That's what, probably $1,000 an hour when you count the vehicles, the power, the dyno, and so on and so on. So just take that in perspective when you choose an oil, or a customer asks you why should I use XPS versus A brand, B brand, and C brand. So we really make the product that goes along